All right, so just had a NWA Nuff Said, which I think is the last event you can probably get through NWA All Access. So now everything would be a per event fee. I think there's 25 bucks. It's hard to say, given the fact that with the E, I'm spending like, $6 a month and I get the occasional commercial, if it'd be worth 20 bucks every couple months for an NWA event. I do enjoy what they do. I like the way that it's shot. I like the amount of people they have in there, the variety they give you. And this card was 10 matches. Yeah, a lot of matches were pretty much made the week before. I do think that the way they like bulk film occasionally does hurt them sometimes, but we'll get into this. We had Tom Latimer versus Fodder. Fodder from Control Your Narrative. In a Singapore cane match. Background for this, they were supposed to be a mixed tag match between the power couple, which is Camille, the women's champion, one-time champ, and her husband Tom Latimer, versus Angelina Love and Fodder. The match never happened because instead, Fodder just beat Latimer down with the kendo stick, hence giving us this match. I liked that it was a short, impactful match, and Tom got his pound of flesh, so to speak. And I'm like, you know what? That match worked. They used the Singapore canes, kendo sticks, a little bit. They got a good amount of working with them. And Tom Latimer got the victory by submission. Okay, that works. Now we go into our first championship match. Lots of titles defended. Where this is now Kerry Morton. Yes, Ricky Morton's son, who's getting pretty good. Taking on Alex Taylor. Alex Taylor was part of the team that won the massive championship team war thing that they did, which I will say I liked that. They did these larger groups, and certain things had point values. Highest team with the most amount of point values out of two teams facing each other, and it was men, women tag matches, 3-on-3 matches. Even did an official team war. They call it a championship series. Sorry, team war is when they do a multi-person team versus multi-person team with eliminations being, pinfall submissions over the top rope. And this was, light heavyweight, nice back and forth. I like that, Kerry Morton's done a really good job. Of course, it helps that Ricky Morton's his dad is on the ringside with him, of just being that nice babyface in peril. He was able to, he hit his big finisher, his big running knee, and it wasn't enough. Ate Alex Taylor's cradle shock, wasn't enough. And then it was, a reverse leg cradle shock into a pin. I'm like, I'm fine with matches not ending with the big finisher. That was fine. Now, if there's a match you can watch for free, Silas Mason, the Thrillbilly versus Kratos. They've had a few other matches. This is their third match in the series. This is their rubber match. Not a gimmick. You can tell Kratos has lost weight because he was on Jock's Watch a lot. So he had just two big burly dudes just pounding on each other. And Kratos takes a corner bump. And I don't know if he actually had direct contact or if he dug a little bit too deep when, he did his little blade job, if it was a hard way. But he hit the canvas, and I was like, oh, that's way too much blood. Oh, that's way too much blood. 3 count. Silas Mason won the match, and then I'm looking at from the time he pinned him, his hands are covered in blood. Takes Kratos' blood, smears it on his face, rubs it across his mouth. So by the time it's done, Silas Mason is rubbing Kratos' blood all over his hairy chest and into his face. Kratos is leaving a puddle in the ring to the point that, they got him out there. He's getting stitches. You can tell they had to scramble because they're like, there's a puddle of man blood in the ring. So they had to clean that up, and you can tell that when they came back, after they had to do a couple of almost impromptu, and when they're back to talk, just prattle, do something. The mat, instead of having a grayish color to it with other spots, you can tell, boot scuffs, had this bizarre, almost white spot until they had to like really, really soak up this amount of blood. And I was like, wow, probably not what they were expecting. We go from that to the women's tag match with the Renegade Twins, who don't quite look like twins. They're like how Nikki and Brie were still considered twins with twin magic towards the end of their career. They look different enough that you can tell them apart. Against Pretty Empowered. This is fine. I don't dig Pretty Empowered. I thought the storyline of, one of them was still babyface, and the other one, it was Ella Envy, was the one who was the heel, and then they cheated to win, and then slowly turning. I'm trying to blank on her name. Slowly turning her more heel was a good story. They've got a third person who's on like a trial basis that they kind of just treat like garbage. I'm like, okay, heel, pretty, mean girl sort of vibe. Gotcha. Doesn't do it for me. And this match was fine. New women tag champs, okay. Their women's division really needs to work on developing more of the tag teams and just getting some more people with that. I think a lot of ways it's just probably difficult to one in the fact that they've only got about like an hour and a half every week to get enough things established to get things set up for most of these events. Again, this was the Renegade Twins won a match against Ella Envy and I think it's Roxy, who was the trial member, while someone else was handcuffed outside the ring. So again, like a last minute thrown together match, but new champs. See what they take it from there. Kevin Kiley Jr. versus EC3. Kevin Kiley Jr. was Alex Riley. Like, he hasn't wrestled in 6 years. This is another one of your EC3, heavily psychologically driven. He's going to talk to the guy during the match, and it's more of one of those, I brought you here to show you that you need to become better, which is a good story. I'm fine with it. So Kevin Kiley Jr. goes for a dive and doesn't quite clear. And I was like, oh, I hope he's okay. Because it looks like his foot got caught on the top rope as he tried to do the big corner dive. And then he got beat. Like, okay. Is this what EC3 wanted? I don't quite know. I like the EC3 Latimer stuff. It seems like now, even I like how he does the, here's the cliche moment where this is going to happen. This guy's going to come out now. And I'm like, I dig it. It works. I don't know how well it works in the world of NWA. Dude's vascular as all get out. So, looks incredible. La Rebellion versus Blunt Force Trauma. Blunt Force Trauma is two guys in masks. Who are they? We don't know who they are. They're just two guys in masks. With Aaron Stevens, who I guess is doing his best Slick impersonation coming out of the ring. Taking on La Rebellion. La Rebellion retained because of a DQ. Not the best match. La Rebellion needs a tag team that's got more experience to really put on a solid match. This was a fine match, but La Rebellion's had significantly better matches. But they retained because of DQ with Aaron Stevens using loaded glove. But Chris Adonis versus Trevor Murdoch. Again, two brilliants whooping the daylights out of each other. I liked how Murdoch really worked over, the arm and the shoulder. So they did, the typical run to the ring post bit. But then it was the master lock. Murdoch tried to get out of it. Adonis got him in the middle of the ring. Got him to submit to it. I'm like, oh yeah, it's a good match. Good match. Definitely what you needed after the previous couple matches, which were less than stellar. Camille versus Angelina Love. Women's title match, no DQ. Again, this is based on the match where this is supposed to be Psycho Love, which was Fodder and Angelina Love versus the power couple of Camille and Tom Latimer. I like when there's babyface fire. So, no DQ match. Angelina Love's in the ring. Camille's music doesn't even hit. And she's in the ring. And she's just doing everything she can to just beat the daylights out of Angelina Love. good, do that. If you're the babyface in this and you're upset and you're pissed, you should make a beeline to start whooping the daylights out of the person you're fighting. I liked seeing the Van Terminator, or I guess for the coast to coast. So putting Angelina Love inside with the trash can, Camille doing the big jump, hitting the big drop kick. Thought it was great. She took a Botox injection, which is Angelina Love's finishing kick move, with a trash can, split her cheek open. Still wasn't enough. Big spear through the table. Camille made that table explode in half, got the 3 count. Great match. Great match. The women's division in the singles aspect is really solid. Camille, ironically, works great as an underdog babyface, a babyface who's been defending her title for so long that she's worn down, and just dominant, I gotta kill you women's wrestler. Fantastic. Really loved it. Thought it was great. Now we go on to the national championship match between Cyan and Homicide. This was built from Homicide saying that he wanted to beat the crap out of Austin Idol, who is Cyan's father. If you see the YouTube thing, this event is heavily censored. And, the chops and the overhead slaps on this one were just sickening to hear. And I like that Cyan did bring a mic in the ring, so you're going to apologize to my dad, and Homicide really didn't apologize. But it was weird because you'd go into this match, you have a guy who threatening to beat up your dad, and then your dad cuts the classic, I wrestled here for a long time. If they were to give this country to anime, I'd be right here in Tampa, Florida. It's like, but is Homicide really the face in this? If he got the match by kind of saying, I'm going to beat the crap out of you, old man? Just felt odd. But Cyan retained. Okay. Some nice moments to it, but again, a match that felt like it needed more build to it. And now the match with the most amount of build. NWA Championship match for who will become the undisputed champion, or will the uncrowned champion get the belt back? This is always ready. Matt Cardona, Zack Ryder, taking on Tyrus, who is Brodus Clay. Tyrus is the most watched professional wrestling champion because he's on Fox News, so he's seen by about 10 million people a week. Okay. He did listen to his Audible. His Audible, you can tell that Tyrus is not one for narration. I mean, the Audible it's a very nice, compelling story. You can tell he's just not one for wanting to talk for several hours at a time. This match had a stipulation going into it where the winning 6-man team would decide who would choose stipulation for the match. Okay. Matt Cardona's team was Matt Cardona, Mike Knox, Rolando Freeman. Look up Rolando Freeman if you want to. He's the biggest brother and got destroyed by Tyrus, I think Blunt Force Trauma. So Tyrus is like, all right, our match, no seconds. So what that means is there's no managers, no down at the ringside. Okay. So a little bit of back and forth to it. Bully Ray's on doing commentary, doing a good job with it. Ref goes down because, it has to. If you can't have run-ins or anything, you need the ref to go down. So next it's like, Tyrus got the pinfall on him. Rolando Freeman comes down, hits a chair shot. Then it gets, beaten down by Tyrus. And now, Tyrus is getting hit with a chair, hit with a title. You have Mike Knox coming down after a second ref bump. Mike Knox goes to grab the ring bell, which then makes Bully Ray come down. Bully Ray attacks Mike Knox because they have a history together. Tongan death grip, followed by a Tongan choke slam. The Tongan death grip, 1, 2, 3. Tyrus retains. Solid match. Cardona's indie time is probably coming to an end as he goes back to the E to be with his wife. Okay. Afterwards, Bully Ray gets in the ring, does a nice speech about, not a lot of people like you, but they have to respect you. You did this the right way, the old school way. Tyrus is like, yeah, no one's come out to save me, not because they don't like me, it's because they fear me, and you know what, I don't care. I'm not here to make friends, but you help me out. We ain't friends. I respect you, you respect me, you're a guy I looked up to. Say the word, and you've got a match, and however you want it. So maybe for their next big pay-per-view, maybe it's Bully Ray versus Tyrus in some sort of specialty match. Who knows? If the card's better developed and it's like $20, maybe there's a chance. Definitely a chance. But I will say I loved the NWA All Access for $50 to get to watch everything for a year. That was pretty sweet. Of course, it's drawing to an end. Given the fact that I spent $50 to watch 2 events and I got a shirt out of it, which by itself would have been like $70. You can tell they did some stuff to just try to get money flowing back into the company. I wish, Billy Corgan, or is it William Patrick Corgan, much success in making this potentially a viable, I guess, number 5 promotion, because you would have WWE, NWA, WWE, AEW, then probably ROH, Impact. Those are probably your 3 and 4, with NWA, being the 5th. But hey, it's good to have options and different sorts of wrestling.